What's cracking, people? It's your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high-level technicians operating globally and beyond. So listen, today I wanted to bring this three-part series to a close by capping it off with this podcast: How to Know When She's Been Well Fucked. I had to put the F in the title, because, YouTube and the algorithms and the things. Anyway, gentlemen, let's get into this final installation, and let's be clear. I'm going to go into some details on this side on YouTube, but I cannot go to the depths and levels that I really want to, so that we get down to the nitty-gritty specifics. I saved that for the Patreon side, and there are levels even to the Patreon side. So drop the link in the description, take a sneak peek, see what you like. But in this particular podcast on the YouTube side, I'm going to go over 5 ways to tell that the woman or women that you're interacting with have been pleasured to the point of climax / orgasm / ejaculation. Remember, in this space, I go beyond just identifying one level of pleasure or one telltale sign of a masculine master. But in any case, let's move forward and get into this particular post. And I just want to start by saying there are many different levels of men, and there's some women who view these videos. And overall, I'd like to be very clear that my audience is predominantly male. So when I make the references that I do in these podcasts, I want to be clear that I'm referencing men from the ages of 18 to 88 and beyond, if you can still get down, which I get down. So I just want to clear that up, because I've gotten some comments, and I've gotten some private messages, looking for some clarity. In any case, I just want to communicate that men should not just be happy just to be in a space where you're getting some pussy. Let me say that in no uncertain terms. Don't just be happy to be there in some pussy. You need to be present. You need to expect to be there. And you need to be equipped with a game plan for before, during, and after the exchange. Listen, gentlemen, women for over the last 100 years, and when I make a reference to the last 100 years, I'm talking about the modern Western world, and in some aspects globally. Over the last 100 years, women have mastered the art of faking climaxes, orgasms, and for the professionals, even faking ejaculations for various reasons. Now, the reason why I distinguished the 3 sexual summits of pleasure is so that we can understand that there are so many ways that as men we can be, I don't want to say led astray, but yeah, we can be deceived. We can be caught up in the moment, and if we don't know how to identify and distinguish between these different variations of pleasure, then we have to start from the beginning and start with the basics. So, having said that, I want to reference again that for more insight, and actually for insight on a practical level, meaning how to own your own manhood, that's where the higher levels of the Patreon comes in. On the regular Patreon side, we go into the details of the physicality and things like that. But on the high level, we get really in depth about the ownership of your masculine sexual health. Okay? So, the previous podcast discussed 4 types of women who climax, but either fake not reaching the climax or simply fail to communicate that they did climax with you. I also went over the various reasons as to why they would do that. Now, in this particular podcast, I'm going to cover 5 tells that women can't fake, cannot fake. And when I say this in a general sense, it's in a general sense. I'm going to say 80 to 90%, okay? So that 10%, that 15 to 10%, you're dealing with a professional, and you need to step back and reevaluate your life and see how you got involved with a professional in the first place and why you would even care if she's getting off. But in any case, I'm also going to offer a bonus tell on the Patreon side. So when you take a sneak peek over there, you get the bonus, from stepping over from the YouTube side. I also want to put out this disclaimer, okay? Gentlemen, if you are only 3 to 5 women in on your depth chart, you need to first work on your control before using these tips and these techniques, okay? Just want to put that out there. They say that the average man over his lifespan only experiences between 7 and 10 sexual partners, which is crazy considering, well, we know that there's a variety of reasons that go into that, but for the purposes of this particular space in this podcast, we're going to assume that you've had more than 7 to 10 partners, all right? So, without further ado, let's get into number 1. Number 1, regarding how to tell if the woman you're with has reached a sexual summit of pleasure. Her eyes. Observe them. Are they closed? Is she watching it go in and out like a little freak? Or is she watching you to know when to cue up the next scene of her Oscar-worthy performance? Make no mistake, gentlemen, there are quite distinguishable characteristics of a woman just by looking at her eyes regarding if she is reaching or has reached a sexual summit of pleasure. If she is busy watching you so that she knows when to shift her act into high gear, she probably ain't busting, homie. In any case, number 2, her mouth. Is she quiet? Is she moaning? Is she speaking in tongues? That's for all my ASPs hitting there with that Holy Ghost. Or is she coaching you? Now, men who have experienced a variety of sexual encounters and different women understand that there's some women who are experienced enough and own their sexuality enough to whereas they verbally coach you. They'll let you know where to go. She'll know. She'll indicate whether or not you're hitting the right spot, or whether you need to go deeper, or etc. Also, is she encouraging you to come as soon as possible? Most women who are seeking pleasure want you to last as long as possible. So if she's trying to get you to bust quick, that's a good indication that she's not going to be coming and that this situation is transactional and you need to check your surroundings. All right? Number 3, her hands. Are her hands behind her head like she's chillaxing on a beach, chilling, drinking a daiquiri or something like that? Is she playing patty cake with your chest or your back? A lot of gentlemen know that, especially if you're working up a good rhythm, she's going to be placing her hands on your chest or your back for leverage. That means that she is down for that rhythm that you're putting down, okay? Or are her hands on your hips, guiding your weak ass stroke to the proper rhythm? All right, catch up, gentlemen, catch up. Number 4, her legs. This is a bit more advanced because depending on whether or not she's on top, underneath, or bent over, this particular tell will vary. However, what's the status of those thighs? Are those thighs steady? Are they stiff? Is she starfishing like a Christmas or Kwanzaa turkey? Or are her thighs shaking faster or shaking like a NASCAR track in the third turn? Something else to observe, gentlemen. And here's number 5, her behavior. Most physical actions can be faked, but a woman's behavior before, during, and post climax cannot. It's very rare that a woman can align both her behavior and her physicality when she's involved in an intense sexual situation. A woman who's sexually attracted to you and actually expects an orgasm will tell a man that she feels is mature, who's an alpha, an ASP, a USP, if she did or did not come. Now, this is an entire podcast for another day, but gentlemen, when a woman has selected you for the purpose of sexual interaction, and it's not transactional, it's out of sexual attraction, she has an expectation going into it. She doesn't know necessarily what you're capable of, but if she's coming together with you for the purpose of sex, and she feels that you're mature enough and that you won't like lose your mind, she will let you know, hey, I didn't bust. But or she will tell you, yes, I came. That was some good shit. Where the follow up is this: are you ready for round 2? A lot of men who have fragile egos would lose their mind if a woman was this upfront with their communication. This is reason number 1 why most women fake orgasms in the first place. But again, that's another podcast for another day. If she's comfortable with you, gentlemen, she will tell you the truth, especially if she's not trying to get something monetarily or materially out of you. The second part of this is that she's definitely going to ask you how long before round 2. But again, that is for my Patreon folks. Gentlemen, if she's overly dramatic and using uncommon colloquialisms like, that was ravishing, stud, man, that whole line. Alright, let me just be real with you. You've been officially introduced to a trick bag. And at that point, gentlemen, I recommend that you kiss her on the forehead, grab your shit, and bounce. Hey, better luck next time, player. As always, this is your man Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying stay sharp and mission focused. Later.